And Betis have got a small someone called Antony playing for them, who's been in unbelievable form, particularly recently. I mean, goal after goal after goal, and as you said, banger after banger after banger he keeps scoring. He was crying at the end there. Do you think that the way that they really have hit form towards the end of the season, I mean, Chelsea have done too, to be fair, as we showed there with that graphic, but Real Betis just seemed like a team that has figured out how to play as a group in the last few weeks, and it's working so well.
And personnel additions make a big difference. When Antony joined, Real Betis were 9th. They're now in 6th in La Liga, and they are genuinely pushing for a Champions League position. At one point, they won 6 straight games. They won 9 of their last 11 in La Liga. They are in this final now in the Conference League. They made terrific signings. They have provided a context for Antony to thrive. You heard there Enzo Maresca talking about, I think, a figure who's been underrated in this push for Betis, and underrated generally is Manuel Pellegrini, the manager. He's figured out the best way to get the most out of this side. They're playing free-flowing football. They are expressing themselves. They're playing terrifically well, both domestically and in European football as well. Pellegrini has been absolutely terrific at getting a tune out of this side, but let's be very clear about what Antony is doing. He is expressing the level of talent that Manchester United bought. And Man United would be disappointed that they were unable to get it. But that does not mean that Antony is a terrible footballer because he couldn't deliver it for Manchester United. He's delivered it for Ajax before. He is very clearly a very good player. And I think in some ways it's easy to forget in the conversation about football, in the focus on the elite clubs, that unless you do it for an elite club, that's the only way we can prove that you're a great player. Antony is very clearly showing over the course of the work that he's done for this Betis side that he's a damn good player and scores some terrific goals, and I think deserves more credit for being a good footballer than he gets, because Man United is that fishbowl that everyone pays attention to. But what he's done for this Betis side has been revolutionary. Chelsea are the side that will make up that final along with Real Betis, and getting on a decent run of form, and in some ways this has been a really big week for them. You go back to that victory they picked up in the Premier League against Liverpool, that come from behind victory in the bottom of your screen against Fulham at one point 1-0 down, at one point really nowhere in that game, and getting a victory. They're winning key games in the Premier League in their push for Champions League football for next season, and getting the job done in the Conference League as well. They are balancing both competitions very well.
Yeah, after a patchy middle portion of the season, they are hitting form just at the right time. Let's hear from Enzo Maresca speaking after the final whistle.
Absolutely, yes. We were trying to work every day to reach the final. Now we are in the final. Now the next step is try to win this competition. We have 20 days to prepare the final. Before that, we have 3 more final, Premier League final, and hopefully we can finish in the right way. I just finished to watch the game inside.
I knew it.
As I said, we have 20 days now to prepare the final. Happy to face Betis, especially because of Manuel Pellegrini. I played 4 years for Seville. That is big derby against Betis. We also won a derby 1-0, and I scored a goal. So I know that they don't like me, they don't love me. But in terms of, play this game against Manuel Pellegrini, that is I said yesterday, it's like one of my professional dad. So we'll be very happy. For me personally, is very important, especially because we can give the chance to this club and these fans to be the first club in Europe to win all the competition. So first of all for that. And then in terms of group, team, squad, it's important because don't forget that we start in the playoff of this competition, not even in the group. And to reach the final, it's important. And for me, the Conference League, it's like a starting point to build winner mentality and then to try to win more things and more titles, hopefully in the future.
The typically dry sense of humour of Enzo Maresca there in the post-match press conference. The final is set May the 28th in Wrocław, Poland. Chelsea up against Real Betis. It has been, such a cakewalk really for Chelsea, this entire competition, the league phase and all the way through. Is it going to be tricky? I know he said in that interview a couple of times there that he's got 20 days to prepare, which is plenty of time. But is it going to be tricky for these Chelsea players, particularly if he sticks with his model of playing some of the guys we don't see very often in the Premier League team, to actually get up for what's going to be a difficult game because they've had it so easy in all of the rest of them.
Well, let's also remember where this will fall in the calendar for Chelsea. They have an incredibly difficult run into the season. They play Newcastle this weekend, which is a massive game should they want to qualify for the top four. Then they play Manchester United on the penultimate round of the season. And then on the final day, they could play what is a playoff for Champions League football against Nottingham Forest. Then they have 2 days off to then travel to Poland and play this final. So they will be playing on short rest. They'll be playing off the back of an incredibly difficult and important charge for Champions League football, considering where they want to be as a club. Yes, winning this tournament is important for them, but a million times more important is qualifying for the Champions League next season, I think, for where they want to be as a football club. So I think the size of the importance of those games is what makes me wonder where Chelsea are going to be at that moment in time. If just based on the fact they played 3 days earlier, that they might have to make some lineup changes. And we know that this Betis side, who, by the way, themselves are in a push for Champions League football, they're a point off the final Champions League spot in La Liga. You wonder where both of these clubs will be because that push will consume so much of the energy and the attention in between now and the final. But I think for Betis, it'll mean that much more because Betis has never been here before. Chelsea have won the Champions League twice. They've won the Europa League. They're trying to do the treble, the European treble, I suppose. But how much of that is a motivating factor? So I do think that Chelsea are the better team, but I do think that Betis might have that little bit extra motivation.